Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're having a look at Helium. I've been meaning to check out this cryptocurrency for a very long time. Finally, we're going to have a proper look at Helium. Now, before we get this video started, let me just declare that this video is not financial advice. This video is strictly for educational purposes and, most importantly, it's for entertainment. So let's get this thing started. Now, Helium is a peer-to-peer wireless network, and it aims to provide secure and cost-effective ways for low-power Internet of Things devices to connect with the internet. Now, this puts Helium in an interesting area because using hotspots and other devices sending and receiving data transmitted from sensors and Internet of Things devices, miners can earn Helium tokens by providing they are creating wireless networks in Proof of Coverage Challenge. That's Proof of Coverage Challenge. Now, for everyone who don't know what Proof of Coverage Channel is, I'm going to explain it to you in a really simple summary. Proof of coverage is a really simple concept. It's a type of proof of work, the algorithm that uses radio waves to validate that hotspots are providing legitimate wireless coverage. That's what it's made for. That's what it is. In the most simplest and basic terms, that's what a concept is. But at this moment, it's more than a concept. It's actually reality. Now we get a bit further into Helium itself. Helium tokens are consumed for the generation of data credits, which are used for data transmission and token transaction fees. It's really important because token transaction fees will always occur no matter what cryptocurrency you're using. Some fees are always more expensive than others. You take a look at Ethereum fees are insanely huge most of the times. But if you take a look at something like Stellar or XRP, their transaction fees are substantially less, and those tends to be faster transactions. Now, speaking of faster transactions, this brings us into the blockchain of Helium. Now, the Helium network runs on a blockchain infrastructure. With a consensus protocol based on Honey Badger BFT. But what exactly is Honey Badger BFT? The Helium Consensus Protocol is based on Honey Badger BFT protocol. That HBBFT is based on a body of research originally knocked off by Andrew Miller. Now, as for Honey Badger BFT, it is Anchronicious atomic broadcast protocol designed to enable a group of known nodes to achieve consensus over unreliable links. Now, in Helium implementations, a consensus group of elected validators, they receive encrypted transaction as inputs and proceed to reach common agreement on ordering these transactions to be before forming a block and adding it to the blockchain. Now, in brief, that was a quick look at Honey Badger BFT. Now, we've already gone through Helium, that it describes itself as a peer-to-peer wireless network, and it aims to provide secure and cost-effective ways to power Internet of Things devices to interact with the internet. We know that much so far, and that's good. But we're going to want to understand the Helium hotspot. We're going to want to understand the Helium console. We're going to need to understand LongFi, Helium tabs, proof of coverage, a little bit more, and the Helium consensus protocol. Not to mention we'll finish up on the token cells and economy and the distribution of the tokens, of course. Now, before we can get into that, let's just take a moment to take a look at the Helium price of the token. Now, the first thing that you might notice is that the price is actually quite high. That's $14.39. You don't see that every day for a cryptocurrency whose supply is 95 million tokens in circulating supply. Not to mention the max supply is 223 million. So why isn't there more circulating supply? Well, it's quite simple. The token distribution allows the max supply of the tokens to be distributed for different reasons for different areas to benefit the Helium protocol overall. And this is sometimes why you see that the circulating supply will most likely differ from the max supply, because the circulating supply is what's available right now at the moment. The max supply, sometimes they can be locked up, sometimes they can be delegated. Some of those coins can be lost or stolen. You never really know. It could be a handful of things. But usually it's because it's delegated to different parts of the protocol for different reasons. to benefit the protocol overall in the long term. The price per token was around 70 cents. It's around 70 cents. So my question is, how did it get from 70 cents or 72 cents? How did it get from there to around $14 at the moment? Not to mention, back in May this year, the price was easily around $19. And at some points, the price was actually around $20. Now that's extremely significant because you got to remember, this is the cryptocurrency that has only 95 million in circulating supply. So for any cryptos to be doing big numbers like this, you kind of expect a lot, but clearly the work that they're doing is very important. Clearly the work that they're doing is also in high demand. Well, there's big things to expect because what you can see is that at some points the price will stabilize around between $11 and around $15 or $16. Right here we're looking at the 6th of June. Around this time, the price was roughly at the same price it is right now. But between that period, it actually fell substantially, quite a lot. Now, this was good for a lot of people because they got to buy more of this cryptocurrency. They got to buy a lot more. But nevertheless, the price eventually rose back to around $14. And I definitely do think it's going to get higher because the work that they're doing is indeed in high demand. Now, high demand usually means high prices. Low demand means low prices. It's demand versus supply the majority of the time. So at this moment, I don't think that the price is on a trajectory to go down further than it is right now. In the long term, I think short term, the price can definitely drop to around $13, $12, $11, $10. But I think to stay below $10, I think there'd have to be a crash in the market for this cryptocurrency to stay below $10 because it's simply too valuable at $10. At $10, there are going to be so many people buying because this is a huge saving. At that price, you got to understand there's a huge discount for anyone who buys at that price. So I don't think cryptocurrencies like this are going to stay at that price for a very long time. Investors are way too clever. They're going to buy as soon as they can, as cheap as they can. So what do I expect? I expect it to keep on stabilizing, but I do expect it to go below $15 and maybe even $16. And you're looking at this month. The price will most likely go back to around $15 or around $16. Because the last time the price was below $10, this was actually on the 22nd. This was actually on the 21st of July. This is not too long ago. This is around 20 days ago. That's less than a month. And in less than a month, it's gained more than $4. That's huge for the price. That's huge for the market cap. So to gain a couple more dollars to hit $15 and eventually $16 in this month alone, that's 20 days until the month is end, I think that's more than possible. Why do I say this? Because while other cryptocurrencies are falling by a lot more, much bigger margins, since around May, this cryptocurrency haven't fallen that much. You got to remember the price was around $19, $18, and right now it's sitting around $14. So if it's fallen about $5, $6. Looking at around $4, $6 the most that it's fallen. So I don't think it's destined to stay low for very long. I think it's actually doing extremely well considering where other cryptocurrencies are right now as we speak. In that it hasn't lost a lot of its momentum. It hasn't lost a lot of its money. It's actually still on its own momentum. And I do think that this momentum is going to carry out to the rest of August. Now let's get back to what we were discussing before. This was Helium Hotspot. Now this is built and distributed by Helium. The Helium Hotspot is an LoRa1 wireless router, similar to other LoRa1 compatible devices in the network. The Helium Hotspot creates a long-range wireless network for routed packets to and from Helium-enabled devices and to perform ongoing mining duties to secure the Helium network. A map of all existing Helium hotspots can be found. Interesting position, a very unique position that I don't see a lot of cryptocurrencies getting involved in. It's a very intelligent advantage as well. It's a very intelligent decision that they've made to take the route that they've decided to take. Taking this position in the market is being more than just a cryptocurrency. They're being a provider to the crypto market, to people in the crypto space. Now, we've already had a look at proof of coverage, so we understand that quite a bit. So we don't have to go too deep into that anymore. However, I'd like to take a quick look at the Helium Consensus Protocol. Now that's a new consensus group consisting of 16 members, and they're elected once per epoch. All active Helium hotspots in the Helium networks are eligible to be elected to a CG. A hotspot is more likely to be elected if it performs well in the POC challenge. Now they go into more details of this in each election, what takes place once elected, and poorly performing CG members are likely to be removed from the CG before 4 epoch limit is reached. So they go through some strict information, which is really good for their protocol overall. So I really respect them for what they're doing. Now this will be the final thing that we finish on, is the token supply and the distribution. So the Helium token is generated from mining rewards of Helium network consensus mechanism. Approximately 5 million new Helium token is generated per month with no cap on the maximum supply of Helium. The mining reward in Helium are distributed as follow. Now what I do find to be interesting is that the Helium token generation itself, generation from mining Ethereum network, generation from mining Helium network consensus mechanism, and they say approximately 5 million new Helium token is generated per month. That's with no cap on the maximum supply of Helium. So the mining reward are distributed as follow, and this is how the mining rewards are distributed. So if I did have a criticism of Helium, that would be my only criticism, is that the Helium supply will always keep increasing, which means that that's a natural step towards deflation, which means that your money will be losing. Your money will simply lose value over time, simply because the supply is growing, and if there's not a demand to match that supply growth, then your value of money will be going down over time. So it's not going to incentivize people to hold Helium for very long, because while you're relying on the price going up for how well the business of Helium is doing, you're also worried about the increase in supply per month, that this is driving down the price over time. But I'd say so far that we can see on the price, I don't think it's affecting the price that much. Maybe there is more to this than I can possibly understand in this video alone. Maybe I need to do more research, of course. And I always say this to myself, I always need to do more research because I want to understand how this won't negatively affect the price. Because naturally you'd think it would negatively affect the price because there's more coins in the market that are required. But maybe they have a solution for this. Maybe there's a much bigger plan at stake. Now, it does also say that there was no token sale conducted for the Helium token. However, the Helium security token have been sold to investors from 2014 to 2020, from which the Helium team raised a total of $55 million. Holders of Helium are eligible to receive 34% of all mining rewards. Simply by being a holder of the token, you can receive more rewards. So as you can see, this monthly generation of new coins, that's actually being delegated. That's actually being sent to you if you hold Helium. And that's 34% of all mining rewards. Investors receive 21% of all mining rewards, with the rest distributed to the project team. And investors themselves, they receive 21%. So while adding new tokens to the market would usually bring the price down, since over 50% of that token, almost 60% of that token is going directly into the wallets of Helium holders and their investors, that will naturally help the price to stay more stable. They're being directly delivered to your wallet if you hold the token. Now, the Helium token also has the following use cases. That's mining rewards, hotspots, earn Helium for building and securing network infrastructure and transferring devices data. Payments for network service. The Helium token can be consumed to generate a data credit, which are responsible for paying network services. And I do believe we went through a little bit of this earlier, but it's always good to finish on that topic. So thank you to everyone who's watched this video. Hope you've really enjoyed it. I've certainly enjoyed learning about Helium. So thank you for watching, subscribe, and of course, I will see you in the next video. And you can leave a comment to let me know if I should make a bigger video on Helium.